walked through fire, we've carried the pain. Brothers and sisters, we rise again. Warriors standing, hearts made of steel. We know the struggle, we know what's real. Ops for vets, we survived the fight. Shoulder to shoulder, we shine our light.
Good morning, hello, and welcome to Vets Get on the Grid. I'm Cynthia Orsini-Dahl, your host for Ops for Vets. In each episode, I sit down with Ops for Vets life members for candid conversations about life after service. Our guests include entrepreneurs, veterans, civilians, private and public administrators, politicians, and leaders who are building and sustaining an impact, a positive impact in our country and beyond. Here you'll meet U.S. Armed Service members who continue their service after service in a different manner, in a different uniform, and those who can shed light on life-supporting issues many veterans face after the fronts. Today's topic is about veteran benefits and life after service, the benefits earned by the men and women who put their lives on the line to protect this country. It's about cultivating the awareness of our veterans and their needs, because because once the uniform comes off, their lives remain multifaceted, and more often than not, most civilians don't realize how complex their lives are. I'm a civilian, the daughter of a U.S. Marine, and an Ops for Vets life member. I'm also founder of Cultivating Your Awareness, where breathing, meditation, and movement practices are shared to create greater awareness within yourself. It truly takes a village for all of us to build or rebuild and balance. And that applies to our communities too, so that collectively we can all be part of the global village together. I host the show in honor of my father, Sergeant Ed Brown, who served in the U.S. Marine Corps during the Korean conflict. His dedication, integrity, and lifelong commitment to making a difference comes and guides me continually today. This month, my hat's off to my former brother-in-law, Mark Dahl, who retired from the United States Air Force after serving in Vietnam as a medic. Before retiring from civilian life, Mark became the head of ER and NICU units here in Southern California. Additionally, his expertise saved my life. And service runs deep in that family. His father and grandfather both served in the U.S. Army. Now that's legacy, and that matters. The mission of Ops for Vets is Service Evolves. The mission of Ops for Vets revolves around service and evolves through Ops for Vets, where veterans connect with one another and with other members of this organization, whether it's through business, leadership, mentorship, or life after service, because service doesn't end when the uniform comes off. It evolves. And because of my great respect for the men and women who serve this country, I'm here to shine a light on veteran issues, veteran-owned businesses, and the legacies that they continue to build. As I said, today we are going to look at the issue at the forefront for many veterans, and that is benefits in the GI Bill. The GI Bill, or the Servicemen's Readjustment Act of 1944, is considered one of the most transformational of federal legislation in American history. Before World War II, when troops went to war for the U.S., they were largely on their own when they came home and went back to civilian life. They had to find their own education, housing, job training, and it wasn't very attainable back then for the average American, and especially for the returning GI. That changed when President Franklin Delano Roosevelt signed the GI Bill into law. Leaders recognized that when nearly 6 million vets or service members were coming home, there was no support there for them, not at all. And this meant that the nation could face tremendous instability, similar to what happened following the 1929 stock market crash. So they put together programs for education and training, which allowed the nation to remain stable. The GI Bill enabled veterans to pursue education, buy homes, find employment, access medical care, and most especially receive disability support. Today, those benefits continue to evolve, but many veterans still face challenges understanding what they are eligible, what they've earned, and how to access it. Some of the benefits I refer to include disability compensation and medical benefits, readjustment and confidential counseling, pension and state-specific benefits, VA home loans, educational benefits, career counseling, federal hiring preference, VA burial allowance, and final arrangements. These are earned benefits, and the awareness of these benefits is key. That brings me to my guest today, United States Marine Jeffrey Rosales, the owner and CEO of Moneda, a veteran-owned open banking and AI-powered financial technology platform. Jeffrey joined the Marine Corps in 2007 and was deployed multiple times in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom and Operation Enduring Freedom. Today, he shares his journey navigating GI benefits and the VA system and how veterans can better understand and access what they've earned. Jeffrey, welcome and thank you for joining me.
Cynthia, thank you. And thank you to Albert Renteria and the Renteria family for this tremendous opportunity. Also, thank you to you and your family for their service. I look forward to having a great conversation today.
Thank you very much. To begin with, is there anything else you want to add about you and your personal journey before we dive into these questions about benefits?
Well, absolutely. First of all, thank you for this opportunity again. So again, Jeffrey Rosales was born in East LA, raised in Fresno, California by an immigrant father who, because of a World War II program to bring laborers from Mexico to the United States, a defense program, is the reason why I'm here. I am the youngest of 11. I joined the Marine Corps at the age of 18, right out of Fresno, California, and I joined the world's greatest military and have just not looked back ever since. And I'm here to advocate for veterans as well, those in business or those navigating their benefits. I had the tremendous opportunity to be a keynote speaker last year at Albert's trade show, at our trade show now. And I'm looking forward to having a great conversation to educate and inspire fellow veterans who do not think that they have earned these benefits. But let me tell you, you have earned them. You have served this country. This country's $40 trillion economy is because of you. So thank you again for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. Okay, first question I'm going to ask you. If you could go back to your first year out of service, what would you tell yourself about understanding VA benefits sooner?
I would have taken a longer vacation, Cynthia, to that would have been the case, not jump right into the workforce, because let me tell you, it is a maze. And it was a challenge for me because I have realized there's so many hidden benefits that you're just not aware of. And right now, the ones that we're really, the common ones that we're aware of is what? Home ownership, going to school. But what about starting a business? What about launching a business? What about survivor benefits? What about all these other programs that you're just not aware of? And for me, I made one tactical decision to another one because I was attacking a hill instead of thinking of attacking a mountain like I should have. So I rushed into, going to a job and then finally going back to school. What I would have done now is I would have taken a sabbatical so I can learn who Jeffrey is after service. I'm no longer, Corporal such and, Sergeant such and such Rosales. Now I am civilian Rosales, right? Child of God Rosales. And so those I think from an identity perspective, I would have done more now. And I encourage veterans to do that, right? Just like athletes, when the uniform comes off, so as veterans as well, the uniform comes off. And so we have to find a way to make sure that we can rediscover who we are, and then we can rediscover that new mission, Cynthia.
Wow. Thank you for that very much. So, okay. How did the education and training benefits shape your career path after the military?
So the GI Bill, let's start with that. I went to Cal State San Marcos, go Cougars, out of San Marcos, California. And I met, again, going back, it's really important to have a civilian or a veteran champion that is on the other side, if you will, someone that can grab your hand and take you to navigate the path. And I have to give a shout out to Moses Maddox, who was on my podcast, also a fellow Marine, because he helped me get through school, Cynthia. I think I got a 1.9 GPA in high school. I knew nothing about, I was no interest in college. All my brothers and sisters, they're all college graduates. They all went to college. It just was not in the cards for me at the time. I knew the Marine Corps was probably the best option for me because I think my current career path would have been very short in life. And so I think I had to get out of Fresno for quite a bit, growing up in poverty, growing up in a blue collar neighborhood, growing up in a gang infested neighborhood, if you will. And it was a rough neighborhood. So if it wasn't for Moses, who kind of shepherded me along the path when I got to Cal State San Marcos, I wouldn't have graduated where I was today. And real quick, just on the high school perspective, I almost failed one of the hardest courses in high school. It's called being a teacher's assistant for a PE teacher. And I convinced them, though, that I was going to the Marine Corps, Cynthia. And that's the only reason why he passed it, because I never went to class my senior year. So thank you, Coach Hudson, who used to coach for Fresno State football. Go Bulldogs. Thank you again, and I appreciate you giving me that opportunity to do that. But I used my GI Bill. The education benefits were tremendous because it gave me enough time, Cynthia, to just focus on school. And it's tough because you give it up to those who may not have access to the GI Bill. What do? They work 9 to 5s, and then from their 9 to 5, they go to class. But the GI Bill gives you an opportunity as a veteran to just go to school, go be a student, go discover yourself, go learn about yourself, go taste the world from different perspectives and knowledge areas.
So I have a question for you. So what are the top mistakes you see veterans make when it comes to benefits?
Not partnering with the right advocate or champion, because sometimes the relationship matters. And I understand there's a book. That's great, but there's also people who can be your shepherds that can shepherd you along the way, who can educate you. I think a veteran also needs to sit down and take a step back, like we were talking about in the green room here, is what is your vision? What is your mission? What is your values as a veteran going into this new battle space or battlefield, if you will, of the civilian world? Do you want to grow family? Do you want to be the CEO, owner of a company? Do you want to run for office? Do you want to help veterans that are homeless? Do you want to help veterans not take the ultimate plunge? What do you want out of your life? All these corporations have their vision and mission and their strategic plan, but as a veteran, you should have yours as well. What does a 5-year plan look like? What does a 10-year plan look like? Because that will help shape also to get you on target to these resources that you want to go after. Okay, I want to start a business. Great. Who is a veteran that has a successful business that I can go talk to? And then are there any programs that the VA offers, such as what I've just discovered, a VRE program that can potentially give you a grant? Or what about government contracting, so you can get your own contract instead of working on someone else's contract, where you are easily disposable? How about having ownership of that? Or you want to get into real estate? I think it's very important for the veteran first to take a step back, Cynthia, before they navigate where they want to go to. Or they want to be a lawyer. Then, okay, great. You want to go to school, go use the GI Bill. And then if it gets you to the 4-year part, are there any other programs that you can potentially supplement, right? Like I've heard a lot of veterans that I know that have used Evoke Rehab to further their education. Some have masters now, right? And real quick, but the veteran themselves are the big discipline is the most important thing. I've seen veterans, shout out to my fellow Marines here, that they have gone from 4 years in the Marine Corps to now MDs, Cynthia. So there's a pathway.
So, okay, my question is this then. What improvements would you like to see in how benefits are explained and delivered?
Yes. So TAPS was a fire hose for me. It was a 3-day course. They gave you entrepreneurship, education, and then career, focusing your resume. I would like to see a civilian battle buddy who can help you navigate the system a little bit, because it's just all you need is someone just to help you kind of, kickstart the engine, if you will. So that's what I would like to see in that perspective, because it's a lot. It's a fire hose. So you 3 days and then you get out, and then now you step into the civilian. What about giving them a champion battle? But I'm not talking about just the VSOs or, schools, but what about someone that has a little bit of life experience, has navigated it, and they can pair? So I don't know if there's any nonprofits. I don't know if there's any type of organizations being stood up for that, but I feel that is a better pathway, at least for me, that I have realized. Instead of reading some book and making some calls and calling some 1-800 number just to get my benefits, and now it's an AI automated system.
Yeah.
And not to mention the voices on the AI automation, they're not even friendly. They just sound like a straight robot. And it's like, I don't want to talk to a robot. I miss the human touch. Okay. And that's what I want.
I have a question that I know is on the minds of many veterans, and I'd like to know what advice you would give veterans about documenting injuries or service-connected issues early, because so many veterans are having issues with that right now.
So here's the thing. Um, and it's no fault of the veteran, but I will personally use my testimony here that one of the things that and I love the Marine Corps and I love the military in general, but one of the things is sometimes when you're part of a culture and that culture is high performing, Cynthia,
Mhm.
they may not encourage for you to go seek help immediately, right? Because the mission comes first, and so, and I got caught up in that aspect. So when you get out, you're like, hold on, 10 years later, using the pressure cooker, if you will, the
Mhm.
pressure cooker can sometimes eventually come out. It's going to come out, right? Like the body keeps score. I think that's a book. The mind keeps score as well, and so eventually it will catch up to you at a certain aspect. For veterans, what I recommend is definitely document if you're or active duty if you're already in service. But document anything that you see that might impact you. You're at the workplace, you're having migraines. That is a service-connected injury that you have. Or you probably don't want to be in large crowds, and I'm raising my hand here all the time. Or you're always looking for the exits all the time. Or you don't like people behind you. There's nobody behind me right now, right? But and I'm sharing that with tongue in cheek is as a living example. It is important to that. One of the things that I have gathered in my process right now to get my VA benefits that I have earned is any type of evidence would be helpful. Your unit might have been overseas in certain region where it was a hostile. That's evidence. That's an article, not just you physical injuries or a doctor told you, but that also gives them evidence so you can build a story and a case about yourself. So documentation is very important. Or maybe your unit got an award for being part of, I was a part of back in 2008, I was in Iraq, and it was winding down, and I got selected to be what's called a special purpose MACTIF, which is just like a special team to go and lay the groundwork for Afghanistan as we were making that transition from 2008, Cynthia, to 2009. It was a very pivotal year. It was a very
Mhm.
important year. And the unit got an award from that. So what did I do? I went to va.gov. I found the article. Boom, put that there. And then I found some other articles that talked about what went on in that region. Boom, got the evidence, put it there. It's all open source. You can Google it, right? And so I think that's also part of your documentation process because it tells the story of them. Of who you are to this organization who should say, why should I grant you this benefit? We know you should already give it to us, but if you're going to make me work for it, don't test this Marine. I don't think that's a good idea because I will eventually, I am going to get what I have deserved and what I have earned. And I want veterans also to have that same mindset and that shift because that same high performing mindset you had, now you apply it to this, right? If you really, I don't want you guys to get out of the fight, veterans. I want you to stay in the fight and continue because many future veterans or many that are gonna look to you to see that you fight for your benefits, right? I made a post on LinkedIn about Roy Benavides, the real Rambo, Cynthia. He was part of what's called the 6 Hours in Hell. He's the real David and Goliath story. Took a knife when his soldiers were pinned down in Vietnam, and he didn't care for himself. He went in there, got shot up, was left for dead in a body bag, and he spit in Doc's face to remind him that he was alive. He comes back, was given 100%, and the VA tried to take his benefits. So now he had a new life. He had new breath in him. He's like, oh, you're going to try to take my benefits? President Ronald Reagan gave me the Medal of Honor, and now you're going to try to take my benefits? No, you're not. That's not going to happen.
Wow.
So then he found a new fight and a new purpose. And veterans, what I'm saying to you is also you are going to have a new fight and new purpose. And the system is probably going to work against you a little bit. That's okay. They got their broader agendas. But you, within your control, span of control, you can make a difference today. Do not think that you cannot make a difference. And then who am I? You're an amazing warrior for America. You have fought overseas. And America's $40 trillion economy is because of you. In fact, we should probably start taxing these corporations a veteran tax. So that
Well, I want to hear your message to a child 100 years from now after hearing the message you just gave your fellow Marine veterans, your fellow Armed Forces veterans?
So what I want this child to know is that you are precious, you are innocent coming into this world, and that your story, your last name, it matters because you are an heir to someone who was willing to sacrifice their life. And so what I want that child to know is that you are enough and you can step into your whole self, into this world that may challenge you and is going to challenge you, but you can succeed as long as you walk with that full armor on every day. Just like we had the full armor on in the military, there's also a different set of armor that you're going to have into the civilian world.
Wow. JR. Whoa, JR. Jeffrey, oh my goodness. Thank you for sharing that and your message. Wow, that's anyway, that's an inspiration to that person 100 years from now. And wow, through Ops for Vets, we are building bridges between veterans, small businesses, government partners, and civilian alliances, because service doesn't end as you hear it grows. Mr. Rosales just let us know about that. This series airs on O4V.tv, Handshakes, Not Handouts, courtesy of the organization founded by retired Chief Warrant Officer 4 Albert R. Renteria of the ARC, which is spelled ARRC.com, empowering veterans and veteran entrepreneurs and their supporters. For veterans and civilians interested in sharing your inspiration information, make the connection by going to Ops for Vets. For www.op4v.tv. www.op4v.com/about. For those interested in cultivating greater calm and awareness in life, you can visit opsforvets.com/cultivate-awareness. And put Thursday, October 8th, 2026 on your calendar so you don't miss the 15th Annual Veteran and Small Business Trade Show. Go to wherecommunitiesserveveterans.org for more information. I'm Cynthia Orsini-Dahl, and it has been an honor sharing Marine Jeffrey Rosales' story with you. Until next time, stay connected, stay resilient, and keep cultivating your awareness. And as Dwight D. Eisenhower said, you don't lead by hitting people over the head. That's assault, not leadership. Thank you for supporting Ops for Vets endeavors through Vets Get on the Grid. Hit like, subscribe, and share this message with someone who needs it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
You see him? He's just as dead as we are. Now, you listen to me, youngster. Someday you're gonna wake up fighting on a beachhead. You pray to God some guy doesn't get killed because of your foolishness. You join the Marine Corps, Owens. We don't deal in pity and sympathy.
I try.
Try. We don't try in this Marine Corps. We either do or we don't. We don't straddle any fences. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
Every time you make one of these little mistakes of yours, you're gonna turn around and I'll be standing right there.
Need any money or anything, you know? Man, I got over like a fat rat when I got out, man. I got my school money coming from the government once a month. I got my veterans check coming once a month. I got my 50% medical check coming to me for the rest of my life.